Hi guys, welcome back to section 3 of Business Studies with AARevision. So I've managed to add in the customer bit right here. I know I've missed that out, but it's because of this thing. So this is Edexcel June 2014 paper, part multiple choice. So I wanted to add this in so that you guys kind of know. So the question is, the old Amalfi, sorry if I pronounce this wrong, Amalfi Italian restaurant in Russell Square, London, prepares more expensive dishes made with fresh pasta, herbs, fruit and vegetables. The use of fresh ingredients at the old Amalfi might be regarded as an example of A, contribution, B, qualitative research, C, trade credit, and D, adding value. So we've only discussed qualitative research so far. I shall get into A and C further on. The answer for this, what do you really think it might be? I want you to sort of answer this in the comments below. Let's see what you guys come up with before, and maybe even give me an example why you think that is the answer. So you can pause right here if you want to. Okay, so the answer is D. It is adding value. So adding value, as mentioned up here, is altering the product so to increase its value to customers. So with the old Amalfi restaurant, so basically they say that they use fresh ingredients in order to, what is the example of using fresh ingredients basically? So sometimes people might be going more likely leaning against qualitative research. Right, with qualitative research, it has been taking place. It already states here that it's an old Amalfi Italian restaurant and they're preparing more. The key word is more, preparing more expensive dishes. So qualitative research has already taken place because they've already got the dishes onto the menu. They've just sort of changed it using fresh ingredients. So it wouldn't be B, it would be D. Trade credit, now that is the most absurd answer out of all of these, because that's when there's short-term borrowing from suppliers. Contribution, I'll get into all these accounting terms later, but is when it's more in terms of selling prices of the dishes rather than the actual fresh ingredients, which is pretty straightforward. And this should be the last one, I believe. I might just, I don't know what I'm saying. So, let me get into it. Product trials, also known as test marketing, it consists of launching the product on a limited scale in representative segments of the market to measure initial reactions. So it usually shows whether the product is viable before they roll it out to the rest of the market. It helps because it avoids the cost of full-scale launch, as well as providing useful market data, which then could be used to adapt or modify your products. So, example, with the Coca-Cola, it test marketed their new carbonated drink at natural food stores in New York, I believe, and then they did succeed in the United States, and then they plan to launch it globally because they managed to test out their products, etc. You should know that this is a bit costly, so that is a disadvantage. Opportunity cost. So the full definition is the cost of the next best alternative that has been sacrificed. Resources are scarce and choices have to be made. Every spending decision has an opportunity cost, which is what we have foregone to get the product in question. So for an example, I have £1.50. I could either buy a lemonade or I could get orange juice. I decided to get orange juice. So my opportunity cost would be the lemonade, which I could buy for the same price, but I decided to opt out for the orange juice. So I have forgone the next best alternative, which was the lemonade, in terms of sacrificing it for the orange juice. I prefer orange juice. Not that you guys care. Anyways, a trade-off. So trade-off is a situation where having more than one thing leads to having less of another. Is linked into the concept of opportunity cost. So a trade-off, I'm going to use economic terms, slightly business terms as well. So if I wanted to produce more goods and services, if I wanted to increase my GDP, this is a key term in business, so it is useful to know. Like, to expand my economic growth, I could be risking stable prices, so inflation. Inflation could increase if I'm increasing GDP in the economy. So it is a trade-off. Do I want stable prices or do I want more GDP? I'm like, if I have more GDP, it could increase inflation. So there is a sort of trade-off between objectives in this sort of terms. So business trade-offs, for example, is like money spent on developing new products or promoting existing ones. So would you rather spend it on new products or develop your existing ones? So there's a trade-off between using your money wisely in order to know what's best for it. So there's less of another. So if you do develop new products, then there's less money for promoting existing ones. Stakeholders, this is really vital. Stakeholders and shareholders. Shareholders is when they have a percentage of your market. So I could be a shareholder to Tesco's. It's like when they sell their shares on the stock exchange market. But stakeholders are people, individuals or groups with an interest in the action of a business. So it could be employees, owners and shareholders even, customers, suppliers, the local community, competitors and government. What is the other one? Oh God. Protest groups? I think that's the one that I keep forgetting. So with shareholders, for example with owners, they want to maximize their profits, they want higher wages, customers want lower prices. So if the business was to expand, it would be good for the employees and the owners, but it wouldn't be so good on the local community because they have to put up with increased traffic and pollution. So there's like a stakeholder conflict here. Or you could also know it as a trade-off because the needs and the wants of different stakeholder groups. That is something that is key to know here. Right, that is it for section 3, chapter 3. I'm sorry this was in 3 parts, but hey, we're at the end of it now. Like my little birthday cake slice thing. Yep, so I hope you guys subscribe and like my videos and stay tuned for even more. See you later.